So you bring us to a good point here, because the other thing I wanted to discuss, as we have like a lot on this show, obviously really over the last year. I mean, I think the first time we started looking at could there be a 2026 cycle top for Bitcoin and or I mean primarily for Bitcoin, but like just overall bull market and crypto top. I think we first started talking about a 2026 potential probably about a year ago right now. One of the times we had access on, because Bitcoin was looking so bullish in 2024, and then things seemed like they start like ETH. Of course, ETH still wasn't moving, so we started to talk about that as a possibility the whole way back then. And now there's a lot of increasing talk of that. Like there's a lot of people, well, because ETH hasn't moved, because the stuff they're holding hasn't moved. Which, newsflash, isn't just Pulse Chain. It's most people that are in altcoins. Their stuff has not really moved a lot. It's the idea that we're not going to see a top until maybe even the end of quarter one in 2026 is becoming a more popular idea. Now, you just said, Ewok, that you still feel like we could mirror something like 2017, in which that means that hockey stick idea, at least for Bitcoin, well, really for everything, I guess, and that was a totally different crypto landscape, but just hockey sticked into December. And then don't forget, in Ethereum's case, in January 2018, that would have been, which we can kind of look at again. But is that kind of still where you are with this time frame? Like, you really don't give any credence to the idea of even like a February to March top potentially for Ethereum and some altcoins? Because I know you're not the biggest fan of Bob Lucas, but I saw him have a thesis a few weeks back where he felt like the highest percentage outcome was that we could see a top of the overall market in that, February, March 2026 zone, with Bitcoin getting to the 200K level or something. So do you not put any credence in that, I guess, at this point?
I mean, come on, what's December, January, and he's saying February, March? I mean, we're really 3.5 months.
It's a huge difference.
I mean, it's not, though.
Well,
I mean, because we don't know how the markets are going to react. We don't know how.
I was being facetious there, but it could be. I don't know.
Right. I mean, it's close, right? I mean, if we get it to within a month or two, I think we're doing a pretty good job. And I'm not sold on it going late into. I have always said I think things will be done by the end of the first quarter. I think closer January-ish. But hey, I mean, it's a window. If Bob Lucas is saying February, March, and I'm saying December, January, not that I'm anywhere, I don't have the following that Bob Lucas does, but that's what I'm seeing. That's how it's looking to me. Again, there are other people saying that it's going to extend even further out into the summer and maybe even into the early fall. So I don't see it going that late. I still think the 4-year cycle is still intact until it's not, and we're not going to know until it happens. It's if we only had the crystal ball, that'd be one thing, but it's still all speculation.
Well, yeah,
at this
and
point.
sorry,
no, you're good.
Yeah, and like you said, I guess you could look at it as splitting hairs or not. Like, I mean, could you actually say the 4-year cycle is no longer intact if it didn't top out until like the middle of the first quarter of 26, like let's say February or March? I mean, I guess what you're saying is right. Saying December of this year versus then isn't like some kind of, oh my God, it's a totally different paradigm. But I think you would agree that 90 more days, 60 to 90 more days where there could be potential of a bullish environment can only really be a good thing. So I guess it's two different conversations. It's one, like, are we saying the 4-year cycle is totally a different thing now? Or are we just saying like the potential for how good this one could be with 60 to 90 more days is a huge difference? Like, that really could be a huge difference, as you know, with a 90-day period in crypto.
Sure. I honestly think, the extra 90 days, you could have a massive amount. Now, remember, there are more people coming in to crypto than there were in 2017. So there's that. Mm-hmm. There's institutions that are now in the game that were not. So there's that. There's a lot of things at play that could extend the cycle. But again, Axis is a great friend of ours. I'm just not sold yet on the very going late into 2026. I think that disproves the whole 4-year cycle, where, March, whatever, it doesn't. Like, anywhere from December to March, these cycles tend to sway a little bit. They're never the same. They rhyme, but they're never an exact match. So it's just, I think there's a difference of anywhere to 100 days on some of the time frames that are listed, but they still stay pretty much the same, similar. But if it were to go late into 2026, I would say that breaks the 4-year cycle. So,
yeah, I could see that. It is two different things. Yeah, I definitely don't think it would be something where we went into late 2026. I think definitely by, halfway through, maybe at the very absolute latest, like the end of the first quarter next year, like April or something like that. And I wouldn't even think that that's likely at that point. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big wait and see kind of game,
a good
man.
comment
it really
here. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all.
Yeah. Viper Styles, good comment. I heard Ewok shaved the beard due to becoming a believer in PDI to $1. I think he is right about that. So we'll have to get him on the record for that here shortly. Yeah, but a lot of interesting stuff though with BTC and ETH right now. I mean, it's finally, good to be feeling good vibes. I mean, do you have any kind of final thoughts on either of those?
Well, yeah, kind of a little bit. Marco still thinks ETH top will be around 8,200 to 9,000. I'm still sold on closer to 15. And my target is between 15 and 17. I think. I still think there's a lot of room to run. We still have the ETFs that are getting started. They haven't happened. There's a lot of people silently buying Ethereum, and I know that price is being held down somehow. I don't know what they're doing. It's being manipulated. Whether you have to remember a lot of this stuff too. There's so many things happening on exchanges, and I think a lot of it is still derivative play. People are not buying on exchanges and taking their money out. If they did that, there would be a lot higher price right now. People are in there trading and doing things. There's a lot of it's very so. I saw a comment the other day that reminded me of this. It's very much like a bank, right? If we all went to the bank and withdrew our money, they wouldn't have enough. It's the same thing with exchanges and your tokens. They're only playing with a certain amount, but everybody's in there playing and trading and doing things. Some lose money, some win money. It's all a zero-sum kind of game a lot of times. But if everybody were to withdraw their money from these centralized exchanges, they wouldn't have anything left, and the price would actually skyrocket because they would then have to buy it on the market to supply their exchange to do the things that are happening. And it's just not. There's so many things like Robinhood used to be, where it's all derivative, it's all paper trading. It's not buying and selling on the markets, it's not hitting the markets like it should. So you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, the Ethereum call is interesting. Like, with you, I'm warming up slightly to the idea of Ethereum getting to $15,000. Of course, I say now that it's 3,400 and not 2,200 or something like that. But I mean, nobody really believes that anymore. So I mean, that is now a pretty contrarian opinion to have. I mean, if we do get upwards of 200K Bitcoin, that would mean, I mean, for Ethereum to even get to a halfway respectable ratio to Bitcoin at 200K, yeah, we would be looking at only 10K Ethereum. So I mean, 15 would have been out of the question, like completely reasonable, a couple of years ago, and it was. I mean, all of us were pretty much forecasting 15 to 20K ETH, but it's been so pathetic this entire cycle so far that now the targets of like 10K have been more common. And honestly, I think we're still okay if it gets to only 10K. Like, I mean, I would not be, up in arms, angry or something like that if it only got to 10K. If it gets to the numbers that you're talking about, Ewok, like 15K, which again, I do think would happen later than December, kind of. And I think it would really catch people off guard. And the only people that take advantage of it are true utter psychos like us, probably.
Yeah.
That would be freaking phenomenal. I mean, that would be that's obvious. That's the optimal scenario, of course. So yeah.
Who knows? I mean, don't forget, a lot of people play that game where they feel the Bitcoin top happening, they transfer out into ETH, they let that ride up, then they transfer into some altcoins and let those ride up. It's a very short window for all that stuff to happen, maybe 30, 45 days. But we could kind of see a blow off hockey stick looking crazy thing. And so what would the ratio be? Let's do the math here. Or did you do the math? Like the actual Bitcoin to ETH ratio.
Well,
if we were at 17,000, hang on, go ahead.
Well, we have a massive delay. I was going to refresh in a minute here, but I was going to say, first off, what I was going to say is, so if we even doubled the ratio from what it's at right now, so ETH is at like 0.28 or something to BTC right now. If we got to 0.56 at 200K BTC, that would put us a little bit over 10K basically. That put you to like 11K or something.
So
you're saying for Ethereum to be at 17,000, right?
At 223,000, I just did weird numbers. 223,000. If Ethereum got to 17,000, we would be looking at a 0.076 ratio. So I don't think that's too far out of the question when you're looking at where we were before. Let's go to the Ethereum chart here. Hang on, let me pull this up and take a look at where we were with this ratio at the last peak. So if we go to Ethereum, change it to the Bitcoin, were we ever at 0.7? Yeah, we've been up to 0.09 before. So 0.09 was about the top of the Bitcoin Ethereum ratio. So 0.07 isn't really that far off, even because Bitcoin has gained some strength over the years with the institutions, everything like that. You got Saylor buying all the Bitcoin, and a lot of these other big companies that are buying as well. But they're going to start buying Ethereum too. So just keep that in mind. 0.07 isn't that much. And if we do get to a $225,000 Bitcoin, 17,000 is not even at that previous all-time high ratio of the 0.09.
Yeah. And I will say, I'm not like incredibly bullish about Ethereum getting to any kind of a top of its ratio against BTC. So I'm definitely not going to count on that. But even if it only, like I said, worst case scenario, like if Bitcoin does get to 200K, even if Ethereum just maybe, we'll say, doubles the ratio from where it's at now, which still would not be good. Like that would be a pretty bad bull market return against Bitcoin if Ethereum 0.0. So yeah, I mean, we'll just have to see if that's where we get. I don't know if I just went out right there. Some stuff just refreshed for me, so not sure.
Yeah, you got a little choppy, but you're back.
Okay. But yeah, those are kind of some possible scenarios. Do you have any kind of final thoughts on that, Ewok?
No, I think my head hurts after all that stuff.
Yeah, that was a lot.